Welcome to my review and personal opinions about the game Shantae Half Genie Hero Ultimate Edition. I'm reviewing the Nintendo Switch version of the game, and if you haven't seen my review on Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, I recommend you see that video before you see this one, but it is not required. Half Genie Hero is the fourth game in the Shantae series, and this game takes place sometime after Pirate's Curse. And spoiler alert for Pirate's Curse, at the end of the game, Shantae gains all of her magic back after collecting all of the dark magic. And oh my goodness, this game looks amazing! If you haven't played a Shantae game before, Shantae is a 2D action platformer Metroidvania style game where your main attack is whipping your hair. This game ditched the retro style for this cartoony style and it looks gorgeous. I personally prefer this style over the retro style, but that is my personal opinion. Since Shantae got all of her magic back, she now has the ability to transform into animals again. And oh my, there are tons of new transformations in this game. You can turn into a monkey, an elephant, a crab, a mermaid, a bat, a spider, a mouse, a harpy, and other transformations that you can purchase. The animal transformations that I have just listed can be obtained after clearing the stages or entering portals into the Genie realm. And speaking of stages, this game is now level based with a clear stage at the end of each stage. This makes the game feel even more linear than the last one, and it makes the game feel less of a Metroidvania game, but that honestly doesn't affect how good this game is. You can unlock new stages by getting maps, just like the last game, except in the last game you got maps by defeating the bosses at the end of the dungeons. In this game, it's honestly just a whole bunch of fetch quests to get the maps, and it completely ditches the dungeons, which kinda sucks, but it honestly isn't that bad. Old bosses return and new bosses appear, which appear at the end of each level. So the plot of the game is Uncle Mimic is building a machine called the Dynamo, and you're basically collecting parts for his machine by going on fetch quests and exploring stages. There are these side plots that honestly confuse me a little, and some of them I honestly don't feel like they belong, but I'm fine with it. Like, there is a new half genie named Holly Lingerbeam that is replacing Shantae as the town's half genie guardian, and surprise surprise, she wasn't a half genie after all, and she was actually a memory, and that always confused me a little bit. And everybody lost their memories, and after you defeat her, everybody gets their memories back. There are other plots like Techno Baron running a counterfeit mermaid factory sprinkled throughout the game and whatnot. All those plots are per level, but in the end, you're still looking for parts to help Uncle Mimic build the Dynamo, so yeah. I almost forgot to talk about the music that you've been listening to throughout the video. The music is amazing. The music is toe-tappingly catchy, and the fact that Shantae joyfully bounces to the music no matter where she is just amazing. Jay Kaufman did it again. He's the composer if you didn't know. If you want to get stronger in the game, you need to collect gems and explore every stage thoroughly, so you can increase your maximum health by collecting heart containers and upgrades, such as a faster and stronger hair whip at the item shop, using the aforementioned gems. You can also purchase power-ups that consume magic. That includes fireballs, pike balls, and literal invincibility. The game honestly gets progressively easier the more you play, which is a minor complaint I have. And some of the power-ups made me feel pretty overpowered, but you can always turn them off in the menu if you want to. Just like the last game, there are two endings, and spoiler alert, in one ending you destroy the Genie realm, and in the other you don't. And I kinda like the two ending thing, but this game is great and I highly recommend it. But wait, there's more. This is the Ultimate Edition of the game, meaning that this game comes with all of the DLC. The two main ones in this game are Pirate Queen's Quest and Friends to the End. On Pirate Queen's Quest, you play as Risky Boots, going through the same levels as the main game, popping baddies with your pistol and your scimitar. Risky uses some of the pirate gear used in Pirate's Curse, and it honestly is pretty fun. You have access to every level from the start, but you need to collect all the genie shards if you want to beat the game. This game shows the same story as the main game, but it is from Risky's perspective with an alternate ending, and I really like it. Next is Friends to the End. In Friends to the End, you go through the same stages as the main game, except you play as Shantae's friends, Bolo, Roddy Tops, and Sky. Bolo has a whip with a spike ball and can latch onto grapple rings. Roddy Tops attacks by taking off her leg and hitting enemies with it, and she can also toss her head and basically teleport to where her head lands. And Sky throws her birds as attacks, so she can also use the birds as platforms. In the end, you use all of their powers and go through Shantae's memories, which is each level, to save Shantae. There are 5 other modes in the game, which include Hardcore mode, the main game but enemies deal more damage and they have more health. Hero mode, the main game but you have all the transformations unlocked from the start. Ninja mode, all the stages but in a ninja costume you can teleport and swing your knife. Beach mode, all the stages but you have to make sure you don't get a sunburn by collecting sunscreen and swimming in water, and you can fly out in a bubble. Officer mode, all the stages but you have a gun to shoot your enemies and you can push platforms just like Mighty Switch Force, another way for a title. And Jammies mode, all the stages but you play the game in your pajamas and you beat enemies with a pillow, and you can also fly around in a cloud. All these modes are actually pretty fun, and they change the gameplay up so it doesn't feel like the same game but in wacky costumes. Each mode has different and pretty comedic dialogue, and every mode has different win screens, and you get win screens by beating the game modes. Beating the game modes in a fast time, beating the game modes 100%, and both 100%ing and beating the game modes in a fast time combined. Honestly, the win screens are one of the reasons why I beat some of these modes. I just really wanted to see the win screens, and I personally think that they are definitely worth it. You could look them up online, but what's the fun of that? So, in conclusion, Shantae Half Genie Hero is the 4th game in the Shantae series, and it brings back the animal transformations. It completely ditches the open world style of the game for these levels, making the game feel even more linear than the last game. But this game is still amazing. This game is the first one to ditch the retro style for the gorgeous cartoon style with great art, so in the end, I really recommend this game to anybody that likes 2D platformers and Metroidvania games. But if you don't like this game, you might like the next game, Shantae 5, when it comes out later this year.